Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ. You're here on the home of the slightly above average ship review. I haven't been successful in getting a Giuseppe Verdi match yet that's any good, because my close longtime personal friend Vaz Vegas set the bar pretty high there. So instead I'm going to bring you a match on tiers in the Tier 5 Premium Royal Navy Battlecruiser Repulse, which admittedly this might not be a game worth writing home about, but that being said, I think it will illustrate some of the things Repulse is good at and some of the things Repulse isn't good at, which pretty much means taking damage. If there were an aircraft carrier in the match, it would also show you that it is really bad AA. Alright, here's a look at the teams. We are down tier in Repulse. And I got to tell you, I don't sync up very well with this ship's playstyle. It is a true glass cannon, meaning it has tremendous firepower, but almost no armor. And I'm more of a tremendous armor, no firepower kind of ship user, meaning that in a battleship I like to bite down on the mouth guard and move forward. And this ship doesn't really react well to that. Out here in the distance, we got a North Carolina. So I'm very reluctant to engage him without a little bit of cover. As you can see, we do have a spotter plane, although I don't bother using it at that point. And we got a speed boost and we got some heals. I think they're called greater heals. I don't think they're particularly great anyway. They're just heals, you know. I don't think they're doing anything special. And who knows, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're just supposed to be regular heals. I don't know. I distinctly remember reading or hearing they were supposed to be greater heals. Alright, so a strong point of the Repulse is the accuracy. Here you're not seeing a lot. Dispersion and shell grouping aren't especially great. However, because the North Carolina is a relatively soft-skinned, fast battleship, we don't have any problem damaging the North Carolina. Alright, meanwhile, the enemy's destroyers are much more aggressive than our destroyers, but at least our destroyers are going forward. I can't tell you in how many matches I've played lately, the destroyers are playing from the rear. It's just disgusting. If you're a destroyer player watching this and you're playing from the rear, no offense, but don't do that. Just stop playing destroyers. Alright, there was a really nice hit. Good shell grouping, good accuracy against the North Carolina. Took a big chunk of damage. And we're safely behind this island. He's not shooting at me. Turrets aren't aimed at me. Nobody's shooting at me. And that's kind of an ideal scenario for you in Repulse, to be able to shoot without being shot back at. Here you can see shells moving in. Again, relatively good grouping and dispersion. Just not enough to finish them off. Out of the 6 shells we fired, only 2 penetrated. The third one hit the armor belt. Meanwhile, the enemy killed all our destroyers, or most of them. North Carolina hanging on by a thread. We will send another salvo his way. And just catch him on the tail. And good enough for a kill. Another 2 pens. Kill number 1. Alright. We're moving out here really quickly. Going to WoW's builds. We're going to look at some stats. Sigma of Repulse 2.0. So pretty much the most accurate level of Sigma accessible to a battleship. 2.12 fires per minute. Arming threshold of the armor-piercing shells, 63 millimeters. Overmatch, 27 millimeters. If I can remember to do it, we will have a stat comparison. Here, we're just going to continue to try to farm damage from the York. Another salvo out. Looks relatively good. But again, at range, a little bit to be desired when it comes to dispersion. So even though 2.0 Sigma, even though we've got a quasi-hybrid accuracy build on here, you'll see that after the match. We're not getting the results we desired, but I didn't like the results when I had the full accuracy Commander Cunningham in here, so I'm using Azerlane Scharnhorst. Or, pardon me, Azerlane Nelson. Duh. Alright, York's going to come back out. I'm going to let you watch me shoot at him. Really quickly from the wiki, max dispersion 213 meters. That's pretty low value, at least for a battleship. Shell velocity, 731.5 meters per second, whether it is an HE or an AP shell. The shells also have the same weight at 879 kilos, if that matters to you. All right, Repulse, built in 1916, one of 2 renowned-class battlecruisers built for the Royal Navy. Originally an improved version of the Revenge-class battleship. It was delayed and then resumed after the outbreak of the war. They were the fastest capital ships in the world, Repulse and renown, upon completion. All right, we're moving forward, trying to shoot at Avier, and we'll do that unsuccessfully, so I'll just keep talking about this. Repulse participated in the Second Battle of Heligoland Bight. I really did make that up. Reconstructed a couple times during the war, gave her better armor protection, and then a pretty thorough one in the 30s, but it doesn't say what it did. In the Second World War, the Repulse hunted German raiders and blockade runners, participated in the Norwegian campaign, participated in the hunt for the Bismarck. Repulse escorted a troop convoy around the Cape of Good Hope and was transferred to Force Z, supposedly to deter Japanese aggression. Repulse and the Prince of Wales were sunk by Japanese aircraft 10 December 1941. I do want to note, in much more recent history, the Daily Telegraph reported that the Prince of Wales and Repulse were damaged with explosives by scrap metal dealers, and in 2023, the Chinese ship Chuanhong 68 illegally scavenged the wreck for its low background steel. That means steel without irradiation. All right, there we finished off Azagio, managed to get that kill, and we got 50,000 damage. There's another destroyer in the mist there. I'm going to shoot one salvo at what I think is his position, and I'm going to totally miss, and then we're going to turn out. Really quickly going back to Wales builds for our stat comparison, there are 18 ships at tier 5 hit points. Repulse is number 6, 56,100. Firing range, Repulse is number 3, tied with Dunkirk, 16.1. AP DPM, very low, the worst ship at the tier, Repulse, 157, 846. Max speed, on the other hand, the best ship at the tier, 31.7 knots unmodified. Sea detectability, Repulse is number 7, 14.2, so the 7th most detectable ship at the tier. Here you see our speed boost, and our speed allows us to dodge the torpedoes from the red team. We are down by 1 ship, and I'm shooting at Bodoni and doing a little bit of damage there, and then I realize, oh, wait a minute. There's a battleship on the mini-map, and I'm not paying attention, and maybe the battleship wasn't paying attention. Hyuga shoulda, coulda, woulda easily taken me out here. I don't know what the Hyuga commander was looking at me. He's looking at me now, but he wasn't looking at me then. I don't think he did a whole lot of damage. I think we weathered a salvo because he aimed badly. Maybe our speed helped us evade some of that. That one, we were angled again. He didn't really do a whole lot of damage. So using your speed to get into that good angle can help you. We're ignoring Bodoni. We're ignoring the destroyer, concentrating on the most dangerous enemy. He is starting to turn away. We put out a couple of fires. But we are shooting kind of uncontested at Hyuga. Thankfully, our teammate takes out the destroyer. There are no torpedoes in the water. Speaking of torpedoes, Hyuga is about to eat a bunch of torpedoes here. And I think he will die as a result. And he does die. So now you're about to see one of the most colossally stupid plays by a destroyer player ever. And I thought I'd seen some stupid players today, the day I recorded this, which was Tuesday. But oh no, this destroyer player takes the cake as an absolute moron. And if you're watching this video, I say that because it's true. You did a stupid thing here, and you should never do it again. And I know you probably are not smart enough to understand you did something wrong, but you did something terribly wrong here. Okay, the destroyer is just outside the alpha cap. The red team has the alpha cap. Now we're up on points, so 2 versus 1, but that destroyer should have capped the alpha cap. Meanwhile, back in the match, we do actually get a high caliber medal. Continuing to shoot at Budoni. And you're going to see the utter stupidity rear its ugly head in about a minute. So the Budoni's doing a pretty good job ducking and diving. We did hit him with a pretty good shot there. I am getting my heel on, and we're having to put out fires because he's having a lot of luck setting me on fire. And right now I thought, well, if the destroyer player just captures Alpha, we'll be good to go because Budoni won't be able to do anything in time. But if Budoni kills me, at least the destroyer will be alive. What is the destroyer doing? The destroyer's in open water, not in a smoke screen, shooting at Budoni. So the Budoni has me on fire twice, and our destroyer is trying to gunboat a cruiser probably from 12 kilometers. All right, maybe 10 kilometers. And as you can see, the cruiser immediately switches fire. Like, how stupid can you be? I just, literally, my mind was blown watching this, going, what is this guy thinking? Look at how low health he is. Hey, Leningrad, go capture the base or do something other than getting killed. What are you, stupid? Yes, he is stupid. And if you're watching this, you should never play destroyers again. Or at least until you learn to know what you're doing. When you're low health and I'm low health, you don't gunboat the enemy cruiser from 10 kilometers away. Thankfully, I managed to kill the Budoni as I was killed to win our team that match. All right, here we are on the victory screen. Salt over, high caliber medal, 90,193 total damage, 3 kills, down tier, I'll take it. 283,238 silver, 4137 ship XP, 4417 commander XP. In Repulse, pardon me. I hiccuped. All right, here we are on the top of the board. 1 medal, 3 big kills, 2073 base XP. Yes, this is a tremendously bad base XP number. I haven't had a lot of good games in this ship. You'll see that when we get to the stat screen. A lot of times it's because of my playstyle. Doesn't work well with this ship. All right, here in the upgrades, we got aiming system mod 1, really a must. You need all the accuracy you can get. And damage control system mod 2, although I wouldn't blame you if you used one of the other 2 mods for this Battlecruiser. All right, 4 charges of repair party. Again, hit points per second. They're not super heals. Reason spotter plane. We needed it. As you saw, some of those long-range shots weren't great. Speed boost. We got the rare battle booster here for movement speed and cooldown time. Got a Type 9 permanent camouflage. And what I'm calling the milkshake flag. Because I know there's supposed to be ships, but they look like 2 milkshakes. The utterly horrible spec screen that they didn't need to break, but they broke it anyway. 56,100 hit points, 16% torpedo damage reduction. I'm sorry. This is stupid and unnecessary. All right, main battery, 3 twin 381 millimeter turrets, 17.4 kilometer firing range, 24.6 second reload, 30-second turn time. I can't even read the numbers. They're so small. HE shells, max damage 6413, 34% fire chance. AP shells 13,224 max damage. So those AP shells don't play around. 2 sets of secondaries, really worthless. 4.2 kilometer range. First set of 6 102s, reloads every 4 seconds. 1,500 HE shell damage with a 6% fire chance. Second set of 3 triple 102s, same damage, same fire chance. Those take 6 seconds to reload. AA defense, equally terrible. It is no wonder this ship was sunk by airplanes. Terrible AA. Your best AA is probably these 40 millimeter Vickers, but your max AA range is 3.5 kilometers. That isn't going to cut it. Maneuverability max speed 32.7 knots, 860 meter turning circle, 15.2 second rudder shift time. Concealment 13.6 on the surface, 11.4 from the air, 13 when firing in smoke. Taking a look at the stats, we're at 0.9 kill death ratio. We have a 500 record in the ship, 40% main battery accuracy. The most ships we killed in the match was 3. The max damage was over 100,000. Max XP was also not very impressive, 2197. So I think this is kind of my good but not great match on the ship. I think the potential's definitely there. I think you kind of need a match where you're not the main target of more than one ship at one time. And I didn't really have that in this match. So we were able to perform pretty well in the Repulse. All right, moving on to the armor viewer. Again, there's not a lot to like here at all, except for one portion of the construction. We'll take it all off. Maybe a quasi-partial turtleback of some sort. I don't know. But it is beveled at the front and the rear of the Citadel. So if you take the shells before the first turret or after the last one, maybe it won't do as much damage. Bow's kind of got a patchwork appearance. 16 millimeter bow, and then you've got this staggered armor belt of differing thicknesses here. We'll put the torpedo belt back on. Maybe you get some spaced armor effect from that at the waterline, so that's beneficial. Putting this armor on, you can see armor belt goes up to 229 millimeters on the broadside. So it may be that that one salvo from Huga, we took it at the right part in that spaced torpedo belt armor, and it didn't really do a lot of damage. Turrets and barbettes, a little bit more heavily armored out of the casemate. Not great armor, not armored at all on the roof of the turret. And so that is the armor profile of Repulse. Taking a look at the commander, Azerlay Nelson, primarily set up to use in the Nelson. Base trait, reduce the incoming damage. We got Paolo Di Ravel fully maxed and Lev Garler fully maxed to increase our HE damage for the Nelson. Here's what I mean by a hybrid build. We've got Flammable Cannoneer. Charles Madden doesn't have that, so this is a net benefit. In row 2, the unique skill Big 7 increased the HE and AP shell damage, reduces the armor penetration slightly. Marksmanship in row 3, that's a ranged build skill. Master Mechanic, that's a survivability build skill. And of course, Fight Fire with Fire. Anyway, that's the Repulse, ladies and gentlemen, with Azerlay Nelson. Again, your mileage may vary. If you got the Repulse, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. But I definitely think if you have Azerlay Nelson, might be the right choice for this ship. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Over 330 subscribers. Thanks so much. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already.